Y mina 35 na legislature in Guahan is back from recess. Senator Joe San Augustine, I will recognize you at this time. Consigue mo na.
Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to waive the rule on the session hours.
On that motion, hearing no objections, motion carries. We are in recess. y 85 na legislatura in Guam is back from recess. Vice Speaker, Majority Leader Nelson, you are recognized. If you can bring us back to item 18, please.
Si just Masi, Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move that we go to agenda item 18 to act on bill number 186-35 COR as amended by the Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriations, and Housing, and further amended in the Committee of the Whole in the third reading.
On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing none. Motion carries. Vice Speaker, Majority Leader Nelson, you are recognized to excuse.
Si just Masi, Madam Speaker, I move to excuse the members not present for today's session.
On that motion, hearing no objections, motion carries. Colleagues, we are now on item 18, consideration of the daily file. Clerks, please read the title.
Bill number 186-35 COR, as amended by the Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriations, and Housing, and further amended in the Committee of the Whole, introduced by Joe S. San Agustin. An act making appropriations for the operations of the executive, legislative, and judiciary branches of the Government of Guam for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2020, making other appropriations and establishing miscellaneous and administrative provisions.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, pass. Senator Lee. Senator Lee, pass. Senator Marsh-Titano. Senator Marsh-Titano, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, pass. Senator Muña. Senator Muña, pass. Speaker Muña Barnes.
Again.
Speaker Muña Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson. Vice Speaker Nelson, pass. Senator Perez. Senator Perez, aye. Senator Rangel. Senator Rangel, aye. Senator San Agustin. Senator San Agustin, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, pass. Senator Titagui. Senator Titagui, pass. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, excused. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, pass. Senator Torres. Senator Torres, aye. Senator Castro. Senator Castro, pass. Senator Lee. Senator Lee, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, pass. Senator Muña. Senator Muña, pass. Vice Speaker Nelson. Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Titagui. Senator Titagui, pass. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, aye.
Interesting.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, nay. Senator Muña. Senator Munya, aye. Senator Tydegui. Senator Tydegui, nay.
Bill number 186-35 COR received 12 ayes, 2 nays, 1 excused absence. Bill number 186-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Senator Therese Terlaw, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, on extension of remarks.
Senator Terlaw, you are recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. This budget is not perfect. It still has some fat, and some agencies will be hard-pressed to achieve more than the status quo. We will have to rely not just on the management, but on every government employee to find efficiencies. But this budget does have some good things in it. This budget adds 50 new police officers if everybody can do their part to get those processed. It also adds money to expand our children's shelter and get at least 24 more of the 200+ homeless children safely off the street, and to support the Autism Center. This budget sets aside for tax refunds and sets aside a rainy day fund for reduction of the deficit. This budget allows flexibility for the governor in areas where there may be critical shortfalls and for DPW to focus on the roads. This budget also locks up $10 million for the first time in years towards repairs and safety and CMS approval at the Guam Memorial Hospital, while we confirm the long-term plan. I hope in good faith that that money does not get diverted. All the rest we will have to work harder on throughout the year. And I would like to sincerely thank my colleagues for their debate of the issues and support of sometimes controversial amendments. And I would like to thank the Office of Finance and Budget and the legislature staff for their hard work. And we will especially miss our legislative counsel, Julian Uggan, going forward. I would also like to thank the people of Guam for their attention, for continuing to care for our island and our government, for sharing their thoughts and their advice throughout this process. Together with focus and hard work, we can go forward and address even those long-standing challenges one by one. I humbly ask that you never stop asking questions and never stop expecting better. And finally, Madam Speaker, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Labor Day. And I look forward to seeing the government employees at the picnic, and to seeing everyone at the march in support of self-determination on Monday. Situus Ma'asi.
Buen provecho, Senator Tadiguis. Senator Luis Muñoz, I will recognize you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for recognizing me, and to my colleagues. I was somewhat torn as to how I would vote on this budget act. There are many reasons why I could have voted no. The increase of the Healthy Futures Fund projection resulted in several new earmarks and provisions that were added to the bill without the benefit of a hearing. Now, this made it impossible for funding to the Guam Cancer Trust Fund to get anywhere near the full funding that it was intended when the program law was created. But knowing that most of the reprojected Healthy Futures Fund revenues went to Medicaid matching funds, GMH, and public health, my concerns were eased, but still present. I was disappointed that my colleague's amendment to roll back the BPT increase in 2020 did not pass. A year and a half ago, we made a commitment that we would roll back the BPT and sales tax provisions in the emergency budget bill in 2 years. That amendment would have fulfilled that promise. We would also be able to prepare for next year's budget by reducing some costs and looking for better ways to enhance revenues. We also did not have the opportunity to question some of the various agencies and program heads about the differences between the bill and the governor's budget bill, and also that the judiciary funding was reduced from the original bill without a hearing. Now, Madam Speaker, my reason for voting yes on the bill is that UOG and GCC are assured that funding for this semester of the academic year can continue. The academic year began a few days ago, and scholarships for this semester are funded by the 2019 budget. I'm happy that 13 out of the 14 senators supported the continued funding of the scholarship and financial aid programs. Medicaid, MIP, and GMH funding are significantly higher than the previous versions of the budget bill. This greatly helps those in poverty get suitable health care. They did not allow the expenditures of lapses prior to the end of the fiscal year. This makes it possible to get more money from Medicaid matching funds and the Guam Cancer Trust Fund. Had these anticipated lapses been appropriated, we could have risked increasing the deficit with an unbalanced budget. Now, considering, Madam Speaker, that we had very little time to review this bill before heading into session, so little time that we had practically have to race through this bill, there was very little choice but to pass it. I really want to thank BBMR, DOA, OFB, and of course our legal counsel for working on this. The great part about our process is that it's not over. I will continue to work with the administration to get the Guam Cancer Trust Fund its funding. You can be sure that my colleagues and I will continue to work together to fix these deficiencies on this budget bill. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and our body here, and all of the employees that worked so hard to get this budget bill done, and I wish all of our employees a happy Labor Day. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Senator Muña. I have Senator Regine Bisco-Lee and then Senator Taitigui. Anyone else? Senator Regine, you are recognized.
Sujus Masi, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd also like to thank my colleagues and the people of Guam for their participation in this budget process. And Madam Speaker, I know that it's late at night and that we'd all like to get home sooner rather than later, but I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge what might be the final session of a man we all know and respect. While my goal is to recognize Attorney Julian Uggan, I know that he'd give me an earful if I didn't first recognize the hard work of everyone at the Legal Bureau, the Office of the Clerk, the Office of Finance and Budget, our core staff, BBMR and DOA. Madam Speaker, they worked around the clock, leaving only to shower or find food that you can carry in a paper bag. With more than 70 amendments, this 145-page document would not have been possible without their dedication and hard work. We owe them and Chairman San Augustine our thanks and appreciation. Madam Speaker, in 1998, Julian Uggan sang for an island-wide audience to welcome President Clinton. And this year, former President Barack Obama recognized him for a career spent in human rights and the advancement of indigenous people. Blue Ocean Law Firm, the firm he founded when he was just 28 years old, works across multiple jurisdictions and develops innovative legal strategies to advance the self-determination struggles of Native and non-self-governing peoples. A member of the bar in Guam, Palau, and the Marshall Islands, Attorney Julian Uggan has provided counsel for governments, civil society organizations, and national liberation movements. His projects have included working with the Marshall Islands to seek redress for the harms of nuclear testing, fighting for the protection to protect the land rights of indigenous peoples of the Northern Mariana Islands, and providing lawmakers from small island states with legal and regulatory tools to better protect their natural resources. Madam Speaker, tonight I wanted to recognize Attorney Julian Uggen. As legal counsel of the 34th and 35th Guam legislatures, he has repeatedly defended this branch from executive branch intrusion. He has stood tall in defense of the island's right to self-determination, and he has been at the forefront of human rights law for indigenous people. I know that we still have solid professional personnel in our legal bureau right now, but Julian Uggen, all his talent, all his hard work, and his wit will be sorely missed. Attorney Uggen, it has been my privilege to have your counsel and to witness your love for the law and the people of this place. I know that you will do great things in the days and the months to come, but never forget that you are a son of Guam. You will always be needed. And here, in this hall, you will always have a home. Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Thank you, Senator Lee. Senator Tadegui, you are recognized.
Sijus Mossy, Madam Speaker, and Julian, I wish you the best of luck as well. We've had many laughs here and great discussions, and I appreciate everything that you've done in this legislature. I really hate to see you go. It's a wealth of knowledge that's leaving this legislature, and it's kind of frightening that you're leaving. But Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to register my comments on the record concerning the decision on Bill 186. But first, I'd like to thank the staff of OFB for all their hard work, and that my vote wasn't based on that. I hope they don't take that, my vote no for this bill, because I know that they worked very hard, and it was no reflection on the work that they did. But Madam Speaker, Bill 186 supports a number of the issues I continue to push forward, with the administrative support of charter schools, road repairs, emergency foster care services, and improvements to the Guam Memorial Hospital facilities. However, Madam Speaker, I couldn't, in good conscience, vote in favor of a bill as it failed our people on several and very important fronts. I opposed Bill 186. Senators had less than 2 weeks to review and debate the single most important bill that we must consider by this legislature, a measure outlining how $1 billion of taxpayer money will be spent. Without a fair process to properly scrutinize the budget bill, bad policy calls continue to be made, such as a decision to take from Peter to pay Paul, reducing much-needed budget of our co-equal branch of government, the judiciary, taking $1 million from their budget. The cuts affect increased health insurance costs in the new fiscal year based on an earlier bill this legislature passed, requiring insurance plans to cover all public and private hospitals. And with this decision, court services may also be in jeopardy going forward. Madam Speaker, another serious issue which we had little attention on as the budget bill was rushed through in 10 days before the August 31st deadline concerns whether government in Guam has set aside enough local money for Medicaid. As we wait action by Congress to provide for a temporary increase to the limits of Medicaid program payments, And more importantly, Bill 186 ignores calls from our people for policymakers to make difficult but necessary decisions which are desperately needed to help reduce the cost of living for our families. Madam Speaker, having more decisions on tax collections and whether actions by the previous legislature to increase certain taxes is necessary, and more families are having to make hard decisions, such as whether they can afford gas over food, over medicine. A failure by this legislature, by all of our leaders, to reduce the cost of government and support new economic activity will have dire consequences going forward, especially as national and international crises are beyond our control, such as possible economic recession that may lead the federal government to consider reducing payroll tax. And of course, constant and provocated actions by North Korea, which we all know can do harm to our visitor industry. Madam Speaker, whether the decisions are made in DC, Guam must be prepared to deal with the consequences of reduced revenues. With this, I believe the passage of Bill 186 is fiscally irresponsible. It fails to prepare our island for potential disasters, whether economic, natural, or man-made, and it does little to help our families who are struggling every day. Tomorrow is the picnic for Labor Day. These government of Guam employees, and as well as everyone who work hard and have to sometimes work 2 jobs at one time. The cost of living is high on this island. This bill does not recognize how to adjust that, how to listen to what our people are talking about. I wish everyone a happy Labor Day. And thank God, and may God continue to bless Guam and her people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You're welcome. Senator Jim Moylan and then Senator Mary Torres.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just like to express that while it was kind of stressful the past 10 days working on this budget bill, it was also a monumental task working with my colleagues throughout the process. Now, I won't lie, many times in the past week and a half, I was a little bit disappointed. But sure, there was some tension in the room, and yes, there were times I felt that any amendment I brought to the table was essentially DOA or dead on arrival. But you know, I realized something throughout the last few days, and basically it's like a family, and no family is perfect. And disagreements are common. And it reminds me like being home for a typhoon. You know, at first you smile and you kind of cook and get the food ready for the storm. And then we play some games, break out the cards, play some bingo, start talking stories, and then the power goes out. But at some point, we kind of get tired, and then the circumstances and kind of get a little on each other's nerves, and we kind of get into some disagreements. But then the storm passes, and the morning comes, and the storm is all calmed down, and we realize it's just another day. And we gauge our situation, and we start anew. And as we walk out of here today, I hope that we all are able to reset the process, engage the circumstances, and start the work for the people bright and early tomorrow morning. I know I will just be doing that as well. But I'd like to close with just three quick statements. And a couple of senators really stand out in my mind that I just really want to acknowledge. And first, I want to thank you, Senator Therese Talahi. Your passion on your work couldn't have been any more evident than what was on display for the past week. And to my good friend, Senator Joe San Augustine, you held the group together well, and that was no easy task. And to my colleagues and to the staff of the Guam Legislature, happy Labor Day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Si Diyos Masi, Senator Moylan. Senator Mary Torres, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, it's nearly 11 o'clock, and this marathon has been a 12-day marathon with this session on the budget bill, and I just want to acknowledge and thank the chair of the Committee on Appropriations, you, Madam Speaker, Office of Finance and Budget, and our very excellent legal team. Julian, we wish you well. We know that you won't be too far from your beloved Guam and all the people here, and you'll always be accessible, I'm sure. But I also want to just acknowledge the government of Guam and all the employees of the government of Guam as we celebrate Labor Day. Many of us are well aware as we try to lobby for funding to assist one government entity or another, the value of government services and all the services that are provided to our community, but most especially the value of the employees and what they contribute. So on this Labor Day, I just want to give a heartfelt Sizuas Maasi to all our employees of Guam. You certainly are not out of mind, and you certainly are not out of our heart and all good intentions from this legislature. So happy Labor Day to everybody, and enjoy your 3-day weekend. Most especially enjoy your families, because we understand as a family in the legislature, while we may disagree and have differences of opinion on policy, we ultimately come together to pass what is really our most critical role here is the budget for the government of Guam. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Sizuas Maasi, and let's all just spread the love and appreciation this weekend. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Senator Mary Torres. Legislative Secretary, Senator Amanda Shelton, you are recognized.
Sijuas Masi, Madam Speaker, and I too have been very honored to be a part of this budget process. And I think that this budget bill finally contains allotment protections for the University of Guam and the Guam Community College. And I just want to say a special thank you to the students of the University of Guam as well as the administration for working together and for advocating for affordable education. And I really hope that this protection in the budget bill, as well as our efforts moving forward in the legislature, will help us continue to provide affordable education for our students and remember to put them first. This budget also funds programs like job coaches for individuals with disabilities and a summer youth employment program to give at least 300 of our young people job experience that they need to succeed in their lives. And while, as our colleagues have all shared here tonight, this budget is not perfect, we need to move forward into the fiscal year with knowledge that the legislature must keep a watchful eye on spending, protect the allotments for our education agencies, and ensure that health and public safety have the resources they need. The people should always be our priority. With that, Madam Speaker, I want to thank everyone who contributed to this process, the people of Guam who watched along with us, who advocated for their needs, who called our offices, who shared what they thought was most important, as well as the chair and the Office of Finance and Budget, the clerks and our legislative staff, and all of our colleagues. I too want to say a special thank you to our legal counsel, Attorney Uggan, Sijuas Masi. I had the honor of having Julian as my professor who inspired me at the University of Guam, and then the privilege of working alongside him and receiving so much guidance from him. So he will be missed. Sijuas Masi, and I'd like to wish all the people of Guam a very happy Labor Day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Buen Pubetsu, Legislative Secretary, Senator Amanda. Senator Marsh Titano, you are recognized.
Saina Ma'asi, Madam Speaker. Seduas Ma'asi to my colleagues who, for the most part, put politics aside to focus on the issues. This was a hard budget. There's really no way around it. We had $50 million less than we did 2 years ago. We had to really work to stretch every dollar. We have so many needs in our communities and only so much to go around. More often than not, and this is what I really want to emphasize, we work together, as we should, to focus on the needs of the community through really difficult decisions. I hope that it's moments like these that encourage us to work even more closely without falling into the temptation to misconstrue any of the work that we are here to do. It's moments like those when we were working together that we are at our best for the people of Guam. Let's put the community needs first and be responsible enough not to allow politics to be put before the interests of the people of Guam. Mendanya hit toru, we are stronger together. Seduas Ma'asi to all of those who worked so diligently these last many days on this bill. I really got to see the inner workings of all the people that it takes behind the scenes, in the scenes, and those that prepared for the weeks ahead of this. Seduas Ma'asi to them all, and happy Labor Day.
When Pubetsu, Senator March Tachino, Vice Speaker on the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just extension of remarks.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank my colleagues here for their hard work during this budget. It was no easy task, and there was a lot of fighting outside the ring. But sincerely, I look forward to continue this work together, besides our differences. The greater mission is to do this for the people of Guam. I'd like to thank the OFB staff, the chair. He did an excellent job being very patient, I think, and also being fair at times. Many times I was surprised at how fair he was. So it was a nice character discovery that I learned from him. I'd like to thank the clerks, our AV team, all of our support staff from each senatorial office that was with us every step of the way, especially and also our legal team. And it's hard to say goodbye to our dear friend, Julian. You know, we grew up together. I remember you in high school. We were always following each other around. And one of the most proudest moments of my life was the moment I got to have you sign one of the books that you wrote, that was Left of the Setting Sun, and also the fire that sets, or the fire in its eyes, something about U.S. colonization. And at that moment, I actually took the time out to read it, and I was very appreciative for that new perspective that those books gave me, and it gave me the courage to look for more, and to seek more, and to question. So thank you for that. And I'll never forget our scorpion frog undertone. So I hope to see you soon. You know, Madam Speaker, to talk a little bit about the budget, this is not something that I would have hoped for in its entirety, but sometimes there are things that we need to meet to fulfill the common good. It's not perfect. Everything, there's always room for improvement in everything that we do, and for us to say that we are perfect, for me, would be a lie, because, you know, I am very flawed. I do believe that we need to work these next 12 months to roll back the BPT. This is something that I am very serious about, and I hope our body can do something about this and to provide a greater checks and balances when it comes to how the money is spent in our executive branch. I also want to point out that this budget provides DOE with an additional $885,000 more for their capital improvement projects. Before the budget season, in the beginning of the term and throughout the months, I went and visited the schools, and they were eager to show me some of the challenges they were having within the structures. So I hope that this money can be used to fix the awnings, to fix the restrooms, to facilitate better playgrounds, to install water fountains for our children. And I'd like to thank the PTO organizations that welcomed me and the teachers during their professional development in some of the schools who invited me to join in and listen to their concerns and discussions. I truly am grateful for that opportunity to be with you. And you remind me also why I'm here. What this budget also provides for the first time in many years is additional funding to the Veteran Affairs Office to help our veterans, to provide caseworkers for them, to ensure that they are trained. And we know that it takes 3 months to train a caseworker to work these veteran files. And for many reasons, I don't understand why, our veterans are overlooked, especially when we are the highest per capita. I have soldiers and relatives that are dealing with these challenges when it comes to filing for disability or getting their medals, or even seeking general assistance for medication, counseling for PTSD. And so hopefully the Veteran Affairs Office will diligently work on this and see something tangible within the next 3 months. Another thing that this bill does, Speaker, is it provides additional $10 million to the hospital. And this is to address the gravely needed fixes from the CMS to perhaps fix the power panel upgrade, fix the roofing, address the SNU needs. And so really this is not a perfect budget, but for me, Madam Speaker, we can do better. But we cannot move forward if something is not perfect. We must always try to continue our work. And so I'd like to thank again the people of Guam and wish them happy Labor Day and thank them for all their hard work. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Si Jules Masi. Vice Speaker, Majority Leader, you are recognized on the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I make the motion to adjourn this session, subject to call of the Speaker.
Hearing no objection, motion carries. We are adjourned. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Sana mo, si Joson Bini DC Amjo Toros.